Man, I forgot how hot motorcycles are when you're sitting in the Florida heat at a stoplight. But here we are. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jesse Lyon, a licensed counselor who gives you the psychology behind pop culture. And today we're talking about this, my new obsession. I can't go a day without thinking about riding, piloting, buying, maintaining, and perfecting my skills on a motorcycle. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why. Motorcycle has done something really incredible for my brain. And it's going to sound silly. Oh, come on. Let's push this gap. Let's go, baby. It may sound silly, but one of the reasons that is you really don't understand until you start to do it. And I know everyone says that, like, oh, why do you do this? Well, you got to do it to understand. You got to have a kid to understand all this stuff. But there's an element of truth to that. Riding a motorcycle for me has been amazing for my mental health. And it's definitely, now that I have tried it and experienced it, it's not something that I see myself giving up. It has been so positive and good for me because it's a moment of freedom. Like this yellow light. Am I going to stop? No. I'm going to go, baby. There's nobody on my back seat. There's no phone that is going to try and call me. I mean, they might try, but good luck getting through. It's just me and my little space helmet and my little 400cc motorcycle just going wherever we need to go. And because every limb has a responsibility and a job to do, it is incredibly grounding. You know how like they say go for a walk and like experience outdoors because, like you've got your eyes are seeing things, your ears are hearing things, your nose is smelling stuff, left, right of your feet, walking down the path. Motorcycling is the same way. It's like this is pulled in for my clutch, this is my throttle and my brake, my right foot is my brake and my left foot is my shifter. And so everything's having to do something. I'm paying attention to speed, I'm paying attention to RPMs, I got to know when to shift, I got to know when to corner. And so it's just such an engaging task that it's finally something that is stimulating enough for my brain to calm down. And that's one of the paradoxical things about ADHD and even anxiety for some people. It's like, you would think that this would be a stressful experience. And for some, it absolutely is or would be. But for me, it's one of the places of calm and peace. Not only because I'm engaged and not only because I'm like locked in and got to stay focused in order to stay alive. So there's like high risk, high intensity. It's not necessarily like thrill seeking of danger that it's all about. I don't want to be behind this guy. It's more about like, this is important. You have to pay attention. It's the same reason that I really enjoy like my job. It's like when you're dealing with somebody's trauma and somebody's worst stories that they've ever been through, you've got to focus. Like this is high stakes stuff. When somebody shares their story with you about what's going on in their life, you have to be very certain about the words that are coming out of your mouth next because they are in a place of vulnerability and authenticity where whatever you say is going to sink in and stick with them, not only because of the position of power and authority that I have to admit is in the therapy room. Ooh, two police officers. Yikes. But also because of the vulnerability and the raw realness of the stories that they're sharing. And so there's a part of that job that scares a lot of counselors. But there are very many counselors who actually get into the field because of that specifically. That's what they're looking for. Don't mind me driving like a maniac. It's all a part of the experience, guys. It's all a part of the experience. We looked backwards to see if there was no cops. There were no cops, so we're going to have a great time. The cops have left us. Watch me, there's a fucking cop right behind me. God damn, son of a bitch. I guess this is an explicit vlog now. But anyways, so it's that focus, right? It actually allows me a moment of peace because all of my senses are engaged and I have to pay attention. This is one of the things I've noticed about me personally in my experience of ADHD is, because ADHD has, because ADHD has a consistent struggle with dopamine regulation, which is that feel good that feel-good chemical, which gives you the motivation to do stuff, like you fold your laundry because it feels good to complete the task. You know, you do the dishes because it feels good to have clean dishes. In my head, it really doesn't, because my dopamine is dysregulated due to my ADHD symptoms. And so I often find myself, and I would wager that there are many other people with ADHD just like me who feel this too. Instead of motivating ourselves through feeling good, we motivate ourselves through a sense of danger or a crisis, right? So I can't complete my work paper just because it needs to get done and I'll feel good once it's done. I can only complete it when I know that I'll disappoint the teacher, or I'll disappoint my parents, or I'll disappoint my spouse because I didn't do good enough. Oh, let that sink in. It also smells heavily of weed right here. I don't know who it is, but I'll find you. And so I have to motivate myself through crises. And I don't know, maybe I need some medication, dude. I don't know. Like, you're just getting the raw thoughts inside my helmet. But maybe that's also just me. And so I think, that comes with a couple consequences. One is it can lead to depression because I'm never doing things out of enjoyment. I'm doing things out of wanting to help others, which can be codependent. And I'm doing things out of necessity, out of danger and crisis, right? So it's like, here we are back on the motorcycle, right? It's like, okay, why are you doing this? Because danger keeps me alert and engaged and activated, and I can actually feel my feelings when I'm in danger. This is a situation that I have seen quite a lot with survivors of trauma. You know, because the danger is familiar, because that's how they've lived their lives for so long, they often crave it. And like, especially in toxic relationships, they can seek out more toxic relationships because those toxic relationships feel familiar. And when you're in a toxic relationship, you don't have to worry about long-term planning. You don't have to worry about, like, you know, what do I want? I don't have to engage with my feelings. I can just focus on the next thing that's blowing up in my face. And for some, that's really scary. For many others, it's incredibly peaceful and directive. It's the same reason that, you know, we have the idea of Stockholm syndrome. I'm very much simplifying. Yeah, buddy, you ain't getting over it, dude. Why you gotta be like this? You gonna take the next exit, son? It's very much the same reason that we have Stockholm syndrome. Like, people leave toxic environments and then consistently go back to them because they are familiar. They feel safe, even though they know that they're not safe and they're being hurt and abused. There is a sense of identity that comes from being hurt and abused that you can't find in the same way other places, because the only way to find it is through a toxic environment. And so, listen, what are you doing? No, sir. No, sir. Dude, what is with all these people? Like, not in the right lanes. Don't worry about it, home slice. They're looking for that danger, because when you're in danger, you only have to focus on the next thing. It can actually be scarier to not focus on danger and to focus on what you want to achieve in your life. That's a real problem. So here we are, motorcycling, right? The other thing about motorcycling is, this is just me personally, and I'm going to share it with you. If that resonates with you, that resonates with you. If it does not, that is okay. Take my story for what it's worth, anecdotal evidence. I have a lot of responsibility in my life. I am a dad now. I'm a husband now. I own a company. I have a social media profile. And listen, I'm not trying to compare to anybody else, but for me, that's the most responsibility I have ever had in my life. And so for motorcycling, it's one of the times where I don't have to worry about anyone but me. I just have to make sure I don't get caught going too fast, and I have to make sure that I make it home alive. But there's nobody on the back seat. There's nobody trying to reach me. I said this earlier in the vlog. And that's really the incredible part about it, is it's just me, and it's a sense of peace and freedom and relief. And number three, this may sound a little goofy, but I did hear it in a Progressive insurance commercial. But oh my gosh, it was so good. The Progressive insurance commercial started out by saying, cars lie to us. They make us feel safe. They isolate us from the noise. You don't feel how fast you're going. which is true in a world of simulation, in a world of digital currency and artificial experiences, artificial intelligence. This is such an analog experience. This is like chopping wood with an axe compared to going to Home Depot and buying a 2x4. And so what's incredible about this is, it feels very real. And feeling very real it's one of the few times I feel happiness. I don't mean that in a dramatic way. God, that sounded really, really emo. I mean, I am emo though, but, I feel alive. I feel free. I feel happiness. I feel myself. And so cars do lie to us. The reality is, and this is what the insurance commercial actually said, it said, the truth is we are very small and probably going too fast. We're very small, very exposed, and probably going too fast. And that resonated with me. Like, oh my gosh, that's the way that marketing and advertising is supposed to be. It's supposed to connect with a person and deliver them an idea that they're like, yes, that's me. I connect with this feeling, with this community. I need that in my life. And so motorcycling has given me that. And there's 101 videos about all these same topics on YouTube, but I know that probably most of the people watching this video are not usually exposed to motorcycle type content. And so I want to get these concepts out there and encourage you to apply them in your life in a way that's authentic and real to you. Whoa! Because they've been profoundly impactful and positive for me. I've never felt more myself than taking up this hobby. And I hope that's a feeling that each and every one of you can come to as well. It's really impactful. It's really incredible. Also trying to make sure that this person doesn't run me over as they try and merge lanes. There's a lot of making sure you don't die in motorcycling, which maybe we'll talk about it as point number 4. Confronting mortality is like, it's a reminder that nothing lasts forever. It's a reminder that everything's temporary, and you have to take that seriously. Yeah, death is sure scary and sad. Maybe depends on how you think about it, but it's also a reminder, like, because nothing is forever, it makes things precious and special. Like, because some things are gross and dirty, it means that other things are beautiful and holy. And I don't mean that in a religious sense. I mean that in an archetypal sense. Like, it's really put into perspective for me some things that I just had to feel to understand. And you have to remember, for me, like, I have aphantasia and I don't have a voice inside my head. So, most people have like an inner monologue where they can think through their thoughts and hear themselves, like a voice literally that narrates the day. And sometimes it's several voices. I don't have that. There's no voice that speaks to me inside my head. Furthermore, there is no visualization inside of my head. So like when I close my eyes and imagine something, I can't see it, which I know is strange for many, many people, but I cannot visualize things. And so there is this component where, like, I mean, just for me, even just as a human being and a sexual creature, like, sex is so important to me, and physical stuff is so important to me, like doing things and experiencing things physically and actively, like working out, sexual experiences, like all those things are so important to me because it's all I've got. Like, I can't just sit there and actively imagine. Like, I can't just watch a movie and be immersed in the story. Like, I have to feel things just because that's part of the problem of my brain, or maybe it's one of the benefits of my brain. Like, I was talking to somebody about this at the retreat. Hey, Moto buddy, what's up, man? I was talking to someone at the retreat about this. One of the reasons I am a great dream interpreter is because most people get lost in the details of the imagery in the dream. But remember, when someone's explaining a dream to me, I can't see it. I cannot visualize your dream. I'm only hearing the words that you're saying and coming up with associations. That's all I've got. And so the ways that I remember stories, the ways that I interact with people, remember their names, right? Remember their faces is, I'm having associations inside of my head. So you might think apple and see it red with a leaf, maybe a worm growing inside of it, maybe the tree. I don't think that. I think apple. I think fruit. I think apple tree. I think apple pie. I think apple is sweet, right? And so I think of things in associations, which makes it very interesting for me. Lends myself to be a great dream interpreter, but can be some struggles in other ways. So that very seriously is the issue. But back to motorcycling. It's a hobby that has brought me a lot of joy, a lot of happiness. It's also in a world where there are greater and greater emotional disconnects between people. Motorcycling is actually a way to meet other like-minded individuals. Not even like-minded individuals. I'll say I've made friends with some individuals who are way more different than me than anybody else I've ever met. But we have a common shared hobby. And part of that hobby is you go out and you ride together. And so the sense of community and connection is one of the few things. I mean, outside of like religious church, I don't know where you get this sense of connection. I mean, you saw me wave to that other motorcycle guy. It is, if you don't wave to another motorcycle person, there's a specific biker wave. You can look it up. But if you don't wave to another motorcycle person, it's kind of a sign of disrespect. Like, if you see somebody, you're supposed to wave at them. Like, that's how that works. If you don't wave at them, you're a Harley guy who's stuck up and pretentious, or you've got an issue with them. And so, thank you for not running me over. There's very few places in life where you can have that sense of camaraderie and connection. And find people you can like just talk with and share stuff with. And it's just relaxing, and open. Like, I've never found a more open and kind and caring group of individuals. Bikers have this notorious sense of being rough and hard and insensitive. Sure, that's some biker gangs and clubs, but I would say in many ways, in many senses, that's not true about everyone for sure. In fact, it can be a very caring and nurturing place too. So anyways, is motorcycling right for you? I can't tell you. But do you need something in your life that fulfills these basic needs? Yes. And does motorcycling do that for me? Absolutely. And I won't be giving it up anytime soon. It brings me just a great feeling that leaves me more clear-headed and open and understanding and with greater emotional capacity for my clients, for my wife, for my son. And I am forever grateful to it for that. So until I see you in the next video, bye.